If you're planning on buying any cards from TCG Player, make sure you use our affiliate link right here in the description of our video to help support the channel. It's the best way to do it and it's free. Looking for PTGO codes? Poton Store has all the latest sets and promos instantly delivered to your email. You can use Tablemon code when checking out for 5% off. Card Market is Europe's largest online marketplace for Pokemon cards. Whether you're looking for sealed product or singles, vintage or the latest sets, just follow the link in the description to find what you need. This video is sponsored by the Pokemon TCG deck building website PokemonCard.io.
Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video. So I am recording this in the past. This video is being published probably on the Sunday of the World Championships, as I don't want to give anything away. So I'm probably titling this video like what I played at the Pokemon World Championships or something of the sort. So basically today I'm recording this on Monday 15th, so 4 days before playing day 2 of the World Championships. I am torn between almost three different deck choices. The first one being this super boring, super straightforward Arceus Intel deck. Yeah, I feel like Arceus Intel, I did really well with Arceus Intel. I probably should have stuck with Arceus Intel for Milwaukee and NAIC, but I didn't. I switched to Palkia and I didn't do well at those two events, which I really needed to. Lost a ton of money because of it. Well, I didn't lose money. I didn't gain that. I didn't win those travel awards, but anyways, that's besides the point. Yeah, so heading into Worlds, this deck feels safe. This deck feels solid and like I'll have a chance against anything, but I also won't have a big advantage against anything. And if usually I can make better decisions than opponents in order to beat them, right? At the Pokemon World Championships on day 2, the likelihood that my decision making will be much better than my opponent's is the least likely, right? Out of all the possible events, the average skill level of an opponent at the Pokemon World Championships on day 2 should be much higher than at internationals and then regionals at the League Cups and the League Challenges, right? So I can't rely on my better decision making to compensate for my opponents not making the best decisions possible, for making a mistake, things like that. So then how you want to tilt a little bit the balance towards your favor is, since you can't control luck and the decision making will essentially be like maximized for both players in theory, right? If both players prepared a lot for Worlds, then it comes down to deck choice, right? And that's where you have the balance of a hyper consistent deck that will always do what it needs to do consistently, and this is it. Or you try and play a different deck that tries to get that little bit of an advantage in the metagame. You try to read the metagame, you try to counter the metagame, and then you hit the right matchups and you end up cruising, right? Because you're making really good decisions, your opponent's also making really good decisions, but your deck has a natural advantage against your opponent. So that's the sort of mindset I've always had for the World Championships. So this is my comfort pick, and you're about to see my slightly spicier but higher risk, high reward potential list. Yeah, so let's take a look at it. So this Reggie list is the one that I've been working on my own. Not getting much help from many people. I've shared it with a few people. No one really was interested in it. I'm not saying these are my final lists. Maybe I played something completely different. There's still a chance of that happening. Maybe I went with Palkia, but these are the top 2 decks that I'm thinking of right now the most on Monday 15th of August. And this list in particular, if you'll notice, it's a decently standard Reggie list, but there's 2 things that are different from it. And number 1 is the 4 Pokestop, right? That seems to be now the trend. It's catching on to people using the 4 Pokestop, as it's really good. It helps you get energies in the discard pile, and then you play a bunch of items, which you can also make use of. But 4 choice belts, okay? So think about if you played Reggie against or with it, yeah, you know how crucial choice belts are to get KOs, right? So a choice belted Regigigas one hit KOs every single new VMAX Pokemon, right? I guess outside of Eternatus, but nobody plays that. A choice belted Regieleki one hit KOs Palkia V-Star, and a choice belted Regirock, 1 KOs on Arceus V-Star, assuming there's no Dunsparce in play. But who's gonna play Dunsparce? The trend in playing Dunsparce has been going down. If I were going into day 2 of the World Championships, I would not be playing Dunsparce in my list because there's not a lot of fighting type threats, right? So Choice Belt lets you get those KOs. Yeah, and it's just a good card in general, of course. But Choice Belt, having 4 Choice Belt means you'll almost always have it when you need it. Whereas if you only play 2, finding the Choice Belt can be a little problematic, right? And you can also more freely discard some Choice Belts off of researches, which is not easily done with other lists. So I don't know. This had a really great win rate against Palkia. Something crazy like 80% against Palkia. Yeah, and a crazy good win rate against Mew. Something crazy like 70-ish%. Yeah, the biggest issue being you not finding the twin energy eventually, or like at an early enough point, but even two-shotting Mew VMAX can usually be good enough. But Arceus Intel is this deck's biggest issue, because despite Arceus Intel, like I know I'm definitely going to lose against Dunsparce list, but even against non-Dunsparce list, I couldn't get my win rate higher than 50% against the deck. That's how good Arceus Intel is. So I don't know. Still, walking into a room, I also, like, there's the fact that not a lot of people, I don't know, are taking Reggie seriously. Maybe they are. I don't know. I'm sure I'm not the only one that's had this train of thought, but I feel like this deck has so much potential going to Worlds because it's not being considered heavily or as a true contender. You take some completely bad matchups, auto losses immediately against Arceus Duraludon and Flying Pikachu VMAX decks, but I'm hoping, like, I'm playing the numbers here, yeah? Those decks will be not very popular, right? Maximum 5% of the metagame. Whereas Palkia, Arceus, and Mew will probably be around 40% of the metagame combined. And any Arceus deck that doesn't feature Flying Pikachu, you probably have a good matchup against as well. So, I don't know, those are some really good numbers, you know? Walking into a tournament having a positive or an even or better matchup against half the field of day 2 of the World Championships, like having an inherent deck advantage, that's very appealing, you know? So I don't know if I will have chosen this deck. This deck is not a day 1 deck because that's when a lot more random things happen, and this is not an open deck because that's completely random. That's a regional, and then you're going to be facing a ton of weird stuff, probably a ton of Flying Pikachu, a ton of Dunsparce lists, a ton of Arceus Duraludon. But for day 2 at Worlds in that concentrated metagame, I don't know. Like, my gut tells me take the risk, but my brain tells me just go Arc Intel, right? So, I'm completely torn. I'm going to be torn the whole way there. I'm going to be torn the days before the event, and I'm going to be torn even after seeing the day 1 results. But, I don't know. I just wanted to share. I should be publishing this video on Sunday afternoon, meaning everything will be over. Best case scenario, I would be playing the finals, and you would be seeing this deck having won the World Championships or my Arceus Intel list, either way. But yeah, I don't know. That's the sort of mindset that I've had going into Worlds, and once again, yeah, it's how do I give myself an advantage before the tournament, right? Because the advantage that I have in my decision making against Tord, against Azul, against any top player you want to think about, yeah, it's minimal, right? I might have some, right, depending on the amount of progression that I did, that they did, matchup knowledge, etc., right? But I would have an inherent advantage if I walk into day 2 with this list, because I have 4 choice belts and people will not expect 4. They will maybe expect a 3rd one, but definitely not a 4th one. And they might not have taken Regigiga's decks as seriously. And you can just run hot with the deck too. Pokestop really helps you thin the deck later on, and makes it so that finding boss disorders or recovering and just making sure you get an attack off can be so much easier. Yeah, either early or in the later stages. So this is where I'm at. Hopefully I make up my mind by day 2. Maybe I'll end up flipping a coin. I don't know. Usually I'm not one to take riskier choices, but part of me wants to. Yeah, part of me wants to say go big or go home. Yeah, and who knows? Yeah, who knows what will happen? This talking about it right now, I feel like I've worked myself up more to where like, okay, maybe I could walk into worlds with this. The one other consideration I'm thinking about is the super effective lens. I don't think outside of the VMAX matchups that there's a difference between playing 2 super effective classes and 2 choice belts. It would make the Mew VMAX matchup slightly worse. But if you attack once with Regieleki and put damage on Mew VMAX, then that's enough, right, to get the KO. So, yeah, maybe a 3-1 split, right, just to have the option. But for choice belt, just guaranteed that extra bonus damage and full consistency with the 8 supporters, the Pokestops, the Ultra Balls, the Quick Balls, the Regi Dragos, 2 of each Regi, the Heavy Ball, everything. Yeah, we'll see how it went. Hope you wished me luck because you'll be seeing this after the event is over. But yeah, thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.